Multimedia Production presents Sweet Treats, and here to help bring a delicious treat to your home this week is our host, Jessica Hargrove.
Hi everybody, I'm Jessica Hargrove and we're here with Sweet Treats, and it's just where we obviously make treats for everybody, and today we're going to be making a chocolate sheath cake. And this cake actually was probably my grandma's favorite cake to make, and it was probably my dad's favorite cake to eat. So it's just basically the term chocolate sheath cake is like a chocolate cake. And it's homemade from scratch, everything, and obviously you can't make it in 10 minutes, but we're going to give you the instructions to go home and do it in the right amount of time, and it honestly doesn't take very long. So first off, you want to start the oven at preheating it at 400 degrees, and then after that you're going to take a pan, a cake pan, and take a non-stick one because obviously that's going to make it way better to cut the cake out and way easier. But on top of that, you're going to take some Pam and you're going to spray it inside of it. And if you can get the Pam or the baking or the cooking spray, if that has the flour built in, it'll be really helpful. But if not, if you can just grease the pan and then put the flour all over the pan and just kind of shake it around and stuff, you can do that. And then your pan will be ready and prepared and ready to go to put the cake in it later. But after that, you are going to take 2 cups of flour and 2 cups of sugar, and you're going to combine it together. And we're just kind of doing the real condensed version here to make it much faster. And you normally would take it through this little sifter and obviously sift it so it's good to mix, but today we're just going to combine it like this. That's our sugar, and this is our flour. And once you sift it, it's obviously going to be a much softer mixture than this, but for now it's probably going to be pretty chunky, but it'll look really, really smooth once you do it at home. You're just going to mix it together, make sure it's all evenly distributed throughout. So you're just mixing it. Once you have it all mixed, then you're going to bring to a boil in a saucepan. So you're going to take this and put it to the side. And then you're going to bring to a boil 2 sticks of butter. And obviously, as you can see, we don't have a burner here, so we're just kind of pretending, but you obviously know what it's going to look like. So you're going to take 2 sticks of butter and put it in here, and then 1 cup of water. And then you're going to take 4 tablespoons of cocoa. And this is obviously making what the cake is going to be chocolate with. And you're going to bring it to a boil, and you're going to make sure you just keep stirring it. And because if you walk away from it, it will actually scorch it and burn it, and then you'll have to start all over. So you want to take a whisk just like this, and you just want to keep stirring it and just keep going. And if you walk away from it, it will actually probably just boil over the top, and then that will also make you have to start over. So, and once you do that, after you bring it to a boil, it's going to take probably about 5 minutes to do that. Then you're going to take your dry ingredients and you're going to combine it with your wet ingredients. You're going to pour it in. So pretend like all that's in the bucket, and then you're just going to combine it until it brings all the chocolatey flavor throughout the cake, and then everything's all like a good dark brown color and everything, making it look chocolate. So you just keep doing that, and you stir it all together, and once you get it where there's no bubbles in it and no big chunks, then that's good, and that is the consistency obviously you're looking for. And you just stir it, and then once you get all that stirred, you're going to add some more ingredients to it before you add it into the pan. So once you combine it with your flour and sugar, you're going to add 2 cups of buttermilk. And then after you add 2 cups of buttermilk, then you're going to add 2 eggs. And what I like to do with the eggs is you crack it and you put it in a separate bowl, so you make sure that you have no shells in it, because nobody wants to eat cake with shells in it, because that obviously is going to hurt your teeth and it's not going to taste very good. So you put that in the bowl off to the side, and then you whisk it together with another little whisk like that, and just enough to break the yolk, and then you add it into the dry ingredients over here that you had earlier, plus what you put in the saucepan. And we're going to do all that and combine it all together, and once we do that, I'll tell you after the break what we're going to keep doing after that. And but for now, we're just going to keep it in this bowl, and we'll be back with you.
Ever be at school struggling to stay focused? Well, I have the perfect fix for you to stay focused and get anything done. Pop open the top of a Crash Soda and quench that struggle thirst. Just 1 bottle of Crash Soda will have you go from playing on the computer to getting all of your homework done in no time. Don't rely on a prescription to keep you focused when you can drink a refreshing drink to keep you focused and hydrated. Call now to get your 6-pack of Crash Soda before we sell out.
Hi, welcome back to Sweet Treats, and if you're just joining us, I'm your host Jessica, and we're making a chocolate sheath cake. And when you left us, we were adding the eggs and the buttermilk into our cake batter from earlier, and after you mix that in and it's all combined really well, what you're going to add is you're going to add some vanilla. You're actually going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And once you mix that in, you're going to add a teaspoon of cinnamon. And then you can just use any brand. It doesn't matter. You can use the off-brand. It's all going to taste the same, really. And so you add that in, and then you're just going to keep mixing that until it's all well mixed. I like to do it one after every ingredient, where you stir it just to make sure it's all, just distributed throughout, because you don't want it to just be different chunks and stuff. So, and that just makes sure that it's all very stirred, and whenever you put it in there, it's the consistency you want. And then once you add the cinnamon, then you're going to add some baking soda. And you're going to actually add 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And then once you stir all that, this is obviously not going to be just this powder mixture here. It's going to be a liquid, and it's going to be a real dark brown. And you're just going to keep mixing it. And you want to make sure you mix it probably with your whisk, probably about 2 minutes. And then once you do that over and over, it should be a good consistency and not have any of the dry ingredients left, not mixed well. And you definitely don't want any chunks in it, because nobody wants to take a bite of cake that has like a big chunk of flour or a big chunk of baking soda. That's not good at all. So once you do that, then you're going to take all the ingredients that you have in the bowl, and you're going to actually pour it into your pan. And when you pour it into your pan, you're just going to take the pan, and you're actually going to shake the pan a little bit and like tap it against the counter, because when you do that, it actually distributes it all evenly, and it's going to be a real thin cake, and you're going to think it's kind of thin, and you're probably going to be a little bit concerned, but it's supposed to be like that. And then once you tap it onto the counter, when you do that, it actually gets all the air bubbles out, and that will keep it that same consistency throughout the cake that you see like on Food Network and things like that you're looking for. So all you really have to do is shake it and tap it, and once you do that, you're good. So once you've put all that in your pan, we're going to start on the icing. And you make the icing homemade and everything. It's not from a can, and it's pretty simple once you do it. So you just take another saucepan, and with the icing, you add 1 stick of butter, and then after you do that, you do 6 tablespoons of condensed milk. And when you add that, you just keep stirring it, and you want to turn it on like a medium-high heat, but don't keep it at the high heat, because it will scorch the milk, and you don't want to do that, because that will actually end up spoiling the milk. So once you add the canned milk and you do that, then you're going to add 4 tablespoons of cocoa, because you want that chocolate icing to go with your chocolate cake. And as you're doing that, again, you're going to want to keep whisking and bringing it to a boil, and because if you scorch it, then it'll ruin it, and you'll have to start all over, and no one has time for that. And so once you're doing that, you just keep stirring it and everything, and after you stir it, whenever your cake is in the oven, you're actually just going to put it into the oven for just 10 to 15 minutes. It doesn't take very long to bake it all. So you're just going to keep whisking it, and basically you just kind of keep doing that until the cake is done, and then when the 10 and 15 minutes is up, it just kind of depends on your oven. You're going to pull it out, and you're going to set it in front of you, and you're going to stick a toothpick in it, and if the toothpick comes out with no cake on it, then the cake is done. But if there's cake on it, then it's still a little bit gooey on the inside, and you want to put it back in. So you just keep doing that, and you keep stirring it, and then once you take it out of the oven and it's ready to go, while the cake is hot, you're actually going to pour the icing onto the cake. Most cakes you want to wait till it cools, because that will peel the top of the cake off. But this cake you don't want to do that, because it makes it a lot easier to spread around and everything. So you're going to take the icing and you're going to spread it on top of the cake, and you're just going to take a little spatula like this one, and that makes it really easy to spread around. And once you spread it around to all the corners and everything, the icing is actually going to set and kind of harden a little bit on the top, just because that's the kind of icing that goes with it. And you can eat it whenever it's hot, but you probably don't want to eat it whenever it's hot. It's a little bit better whenever it's kind of warm. I know my dad would put ice cream on it, and you actually could, once you put ice cream on it, you could even put, whenever you put the icing on the top, you could put nuts, or you could put sprinkles. It just kind of depends, and you can put almonds or walnuts or pecans, just whatever you want, and you can even mix it as you're making the icing on the stove, or you can put it right on top. So it just kind of depends on what your preference is. Whenever I'm at home, I actually make it with walnuts, but once you finish that, then this is going to be your finished product, and you can take this home and enjoy it with your family, and I hope you love it.